What's going on, everybody? This is Corey Lee's Boxing, and we are back with another banger. So please smash that like button, you guys, and subscribe. And yeah, man, I want to talk David Benavidez versus Canelo Alvarez, you guys. Um, and what's whether what a future you know what was should I say a former, champion says about David Benavidez fighting Canelo Alvarez, man. Um, a lot of Mexican, legends and a lot of Mexican great fighters want to see these two guys collide. Smash that like button and subscribe to you as soon as you guys come in. But they want to see these two guys collide. They want to see, the best fight the best. You say you're the best, well, you got to fight the best. That's what it's about. The best fighting the best, and right now these two guys are at the top of the throne, man. I feel like at 168 pounds. Um, I mean, you got Jennebeck in there as well, which he's a pretty good fighter as well. Um, but right now, these two guys are, the top guys, right now, um, at 168 pounds. I don't see anybody beating, you know, I don't see anybody beating David Benavidez right now, you know. Um, not at, not at not at 168 pounds. He's just right now he's levels ahead of a lot of guys. And Jennebeck is at excuse me, Jennebeck, I had to look that up. Jennebeck is at middleweight. So he would have to come up to super middleweight. So at 168, yeah, man. I mean, David Benavidez and Canelo Alvarez are the top of the cream of the crop right now. Um, and these two guys really should get in the ring with each other, man. Enough is enough. Both guys have been back and forth, on social media. And what one Mexican, legend they say has says is this is what Marco Antonio Barrera has to say. He says he acknowledges Alvarez's accomplishments in the ring. However, according to him, there's a missing piece in Canelo's journey to boxing immortality. A showdown with David Benavidez, Barrera contends that this clash is the missing link, the encounter that could provide the necessary catalyst for Canelo to ascend to even greater heights. You know what I'm saying? Like even greater heights. So, you know what I mean? You got to understand right now, man. You know, we know Canelo Alvarez is numero uno, number one at 168 pounds. I mean, he has all of the belts. He is the undisputed champion at 168 pounds. There's nobody, ahead of him right now statistically, and and champion wise as well. Nobody has more belts than him at 168 pounds. Nobody has a better resume, in my personal opinion, than him at 168 pounds. Even though even though we know, um, Caleb Plant is good. We all know that. Smash that like button as soon as you guys come in, man. But I just feel like, man, there's like I said, right now, man, there's a lot on the line for Canelo Alvarez in his next fight. Um, if he chooses uh David Benavidez, that would be on him, but nobody's forcing him to to do that. And this is what Barrera has to say, you guys, which is a well-respected champion, with Mexican descent. He says, "You say it very well. Canelo is a boxer with very good qualities, 3 or 4 times world champion in different divisions, but he is missing that one fight, and there's Benavidez, I believe he could fight Benavidez. So he's missing that one fight, and he's pretty much saying there's Benavidez, and he believes that he could fight Benavidez. He said there's significance of this potential matchup lies not just in physical confrontation, but in the credibility it could bring to Canelo Alvarez's legacy. Barrera emphasizes a clash that it says a clash that we want to see, a fight where I believe people would start to give him credibility that Canelo Alvarez has. It says, who for me is a great boxer, but he needs that little push. I mean, listen, man, you know, Canelo Alvarez is going to be a great boxer and is already a great boxer, you know, with or without David Benavidez in my eyes. You know, he doesn't need David Benavidez to cement his legacy. It would help. Um, it definitely would help. Um, you know, I think for Canelo Alvarez to be the best, to go down as one of the best fighters to ever live, you know, I think he still has business to take care of. He still needs to get back with Demetrius Bivol, which Demetrius Bivol did beat him. Fair and square at 175 pounds. Canelo Alvarez bit off a little bit more than he could chew. But Demetrius Bivol said he doesn't mind going down to 168 pounds and fighting Canelo Alvarez, for a rematch. Um, but what I wanted to tell you guys is, on another note, Demetrius Bivol can go down to 168 pounds and challenge Canelo Alvarez, but Demetrius Bivol is fighting Archer Beterbiev, okay? And Archer Beterbiev can't go back down to 168. He can never make 168. I don't think. I think he gets down as super low as he could possibly go, and that's at 175 pounds, and that is at the brink. You know, so there's a big difference between you know Demetrius Bivol and Archer Beterbiev right there. You know, Demetrius Bivol saying he'll come down to fight Canelo at 168 and he can make 168. And from everything that I've heard and seen, I don't believe that Archer Beterbiev can make 168. I mean, he's just too big of a fighter, in that weight class, at 175 pounds. Um, And that's another reason why I don't think that David Benavidez is in such a rush to go up and fight, Archer Beterbiev, because he knows Archer Beterbiev is numero uno at 175 pounds, you know, and he can't bully Archer Beterbiev like he bullies a lot of these 168 pounders. He throws a lot of punches and bunches, but he does get hit as well. So that's what makes this fight intriguing, with Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez, because David Benavidez does leave himself open to get hit at times. Let's just not say that, David Benavidez is one of these fighters that never gets hit and that never, what I'm saying, wavers. We haven't seen him push to the brink yet, but I think in a Canelo Alvarez versus Benavidez fight, both guys can be pushed to the brink. Um, and that's what boxing needs. That's why I understand why so many uh, you know, fight fans, want to see that. So many fight fans at this point in time want to see, David Benavidez versus Canelo Alvarez. That's a fight that real, true, diehard fight fans want to see, and casual fight fans want to see as well. That's just not, for, diehard fans, and hardcore fans. That's for casual fans as well, you know. But this is what Stephen A. Smith has to say about it. It says Oscar De La Hoya outlines the reason that David Benavidez better than Canelo. Stephen A. Smith. So Oscar De La Hoya feels like David Benavidez is better than Canelo Alvarez. Okay, that's number one. Stephen A. Smith expressed his frustration, stating, "I'm pretty pissed off. I don't like it at all. How many fights are you going to have before you avoid giving Benavidez the chance he solely deserves?" And Shannon Sharp added a business perspective, emphasizing Canelo's strategic career navigation. Wow. Canelo emphasizes his strategic career navigation. So these guys think Canelo Alvarez is strategically going around certain fighters and fighting certain fighters. You know, that's definitely not a throwback fighter. That's definitely, not a fighter that I feel like is a really good fighter. If you're the best, if you have to fight the best, you know what I mean? Straight up. And Canelo Alvarez, they're saying that he's going this way. He's not. He should have been gave David Benavidez a fight. And I've heard that from a lot of fight fans and former fighters, and fight fans in general. And former fighters. You know, they say that David Benavidez deserves a shot with Canelo Alvarez. And that's a tough fight for Canelo Alvarez. I haven't heard one, former fighter say that's a cakewalk for Canelo Alvarez. Cause they know if you're a fighter or a former fighter, some current fighters say that David Benavidez would beat Canelo Alvarez. Some current fighters right now have said that, and I mean, shit, hell, you got Oscar De La Hoya, a Hall of Famer, saying that, and he used to promote Canelo Alvarez, saying that, David Benavidez, you know, he thinks that, David Benavidez could give Canelo Alvarez a lot of problems, you know, and possibly beat him, you know. But we all know Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo Alvarez, they go back and forth, 1 minute they're hot, 1 minute they're cold. It's just that's just the relationship they have right now. And it looked like Ryan Garcia, on another note, looked like Ryan Garcia was going to be having that same relationship with Oscar De La Hoya. But then in a recent interview I seen he did that I talked about on this channel, they're saying that Oscar De La Hoya and Ryan Garcia have mended um, their relationship and have come back together. And you got you know uh Ryan Garcia saying he loves Oscar De La Hoya and stuff like that. And remind you, Canelo Alvarez and Ryan Garcia used to be stablemates not too long ago. Shall I remind you guys? Oscar De La Hoya, Ryan Garcia, and Canelo Alvarez was all under one banner not too long ago. So all of them guys have, but even Ryan Garcia acknowledges that David Benavidez versus Canelo is a good fight. Smash that like button as soon as you guys come in, man. But when you got Mexican greats saying that, David Benavidez, pretty much Canelo Alvarez needs David Benavidez to submit his greatness, it's like, damn, I guess beating the fighters that he beaten, all of the champions that Canelo Alvarez has beaten, a lot of people are saying pretty much the gig is up. They're seeing what Canelo Alvarez is doing. He's maneuvering through weight divisions, fighting certain fighters, and waiting to fight other fighters. And you know what I mean? At this point in Canelo Alvarez's career, he's still young. You know, he's still under 35 years old. But in boxing, being that he's coming from 147 all the way to 168, how long can Canelo Alvarez last at that top level? To me, I've seen slippage in Canelo. A lot of people might not want to notice that and say that, but I've seen slippage in Canelo Alvarez, and that's why when guys like Terrence Crawford have called out Canelo Alvarez that he wants to fight Canelo Alvarez, I don't see anything wrong with that. You got guys like David Benavidez, a big 168-pounder calling Canelo Alvarez out. And then you got guys like Terrence Crawford, a pretty good size, welterweight, calling Canelo Alvarez out. You know what? And I understand what Terrence Crawford is doing. Terrence Crawford is pretty much doing, with any other with any guy, and I believe in his position would do. There's a huge money fight involved with Canelo Alvarez. A lot of notoriety. You could possibly go down as one of the biggest as one of the biggest, fight fans and, fighters of our generation, on the line, in Terrence Crawford. A lot of fight fans think Terrence Crawford, is the best at 147 pounds. Some people would say that, Jerron Business is the best at 147, now that he's champion. But like I said, Terrence Crawford right now, money for money, fight for fight, he would want to. I Right now, Terrence Crawford is saying he wants to fight Canelo straight up, and it's like you got to get in line, buddy. That's what it's looking like. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Uh, Foul player Brooklyn in the chat says Big Cord with the weekend banger. You already know, man. You already know, man. Smash that like button as soon as you guys come in and subscribe. But we're talking David Benavidez versus Canelo Alvarez right now. And a lot of Mexican, former champions and former, Mexican superstars and just, former Mexican fighters, you know, are saying that Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez need to fight, you know? And a lot of people have made note of Canelo Alvarez saying he's not fighting Mexican fighters anymore. You know, that was a wild thing to say. Like Mike Tyson's always said, if you're saying, you want me to do good in the sport, fight me. I gotta feed my family, you know. Smash that like button and subscribe. I gotta feed my family. David Benavidez has a family now. You know, he has a child and a wife. You know, so why is Canelo Alvarez, from what people are saying, maneuvering certain ways, you know, to not fight David Benavidez? I don't think it's a coincidence that David Benavidez has been avoided from Canelo Alvarez. You know, I think it's strategically done. And I think they don't have any plans on fighting, David Benavidez in the near future. Suleiman, the president of the WBC, said that, you know, David Benavidez has to get a title shot in 2024 or Canelo Alvarez, and I'm paraphrasing, will be stripped. But we've heard this before. We've heard this before. Actions speak louder than words, Suleiman. So you got both guys, in the WBC organization, and it's just a mess, man. It's just a mess. These sanctioning bodies, man. You got the WBC silver, you got the WBC, it's just so many different variations of the WBC, man. But then you got the WBC interim belt, WBC silver belt, then you got the WBC World Championship belt. So, yeah, man. But yeah, man. I just wanted to touch on this tonight, man, and give you guys a little insight on what's going on with Canelo Alvarez. Right now it's looking like Jamal Charlo at 160 pounds, moving up to 168. To fight Canelo Alvarez, another fighter moving up. There's nothing hidden about that. I mean, obviously Jamal Charlo, I believe he fought at 168 before. I think his last fight was at 168, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on it, but Like I said, I mean, he's a 160 pounder, and he's moving up. Um, Canelo's been at 168 for a little while now. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Please, whatever you do, smash the like button and subscribe. And if you can, share this on all social media platforms, you guys. This is Corey Lee Boxing, and you definitely been hit with another banger. Peace out, you guys.